fine. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about erotica. Right, erotica is my top favorite topic, and that's what I do for more than 20 years. And today I will discuss death and feeling alive. Okay, death and feeling alive, liberation. Okay, and maybe I will speak about confidence as well. Okay, so maybe most related topic would be about death and about feeling alive is about couples. Okay, there are couples, right, who are feeling alive. Okay, and that moment when they do feel alive, you could see on their faces, and you could actually witness how they are good with each other, right? Because they are alive, they fully functional, they are in love, in the relationship, in the intimate relationship, having a great connection. What that means is they're doing stuff together, they're doing touches, they're doing kisses, okay, cuddling, make love, right, traveling, gifts, whatever couples do, they feel alive by doing it, right? So that's how I defined, right? Being alive, right? Alive. And then there are couples who are dead, who do not have intimacy, who do not have passion, who do not have a great connection, who do not have make love situations in their life. And in general, the couple's life gone into a stale zone, friend zone, right? So that's what describes, very well erotica, right? With some couples, erotica is vibrant and present, and people feel alive. They have this vibration in their body, right? They feel it, right? Not only that they feel it, I feel it, okay? I feel it, you feel it. Everyone is feeling it when they are in that energy, when they are in that frequency, right? And that it means being alive. And we know what that means, being dead, right? That means being dead. When people stop stop being honest, stop being truthful, stop being intimate. There are many ways what happens, in which way every couple will go, right? Not everyone goes straight away into conflict and crisis. Not necessarily. People can love each other and do not desire. You see, and that is when erotica is gone from their life. Okay, and when I speak about erotica, that's where I want to fulfill, more information about it, because erotica is not only a sexual and intimate connection, right? You can have erotica while you're having breakfast. Okay, the way you set things up, the way you approached it, the way the way you're good with each other. You do not have to you do not have to have any, sexual performance during breakfast, right? But this is a ritual how you are with each other. It's in the energy, it's in the ear, it's everywhere, right? And erotica is that, right? Erotica is a force, energy force, and every adult is able to create that and to translate that. I use my erotica to present my topics, and today I am talking about death and aliveness, and not necessarily in the couples. In individuals, it is also a case to happen, right? When people lose interest, when people are single, when people don't want to go out anywhere, okay, dress up, okay, they're not interested to create anything, okay, to do anything risky, to travel, to go. They don't care anymore, right? The less they move, okay, the stiffer they get, right? And it's harder to move them out, to get them out of the comfort zone, right? So erotica is dead, right? Erotica is dead, and when people know that, okay, it's not that it's something, I'm just informing you about something new. Everyone knows how they feel, right? Erotica, it's a very interesting topic, Okay, because the more I think about it, the more I analyze this, the more I work with it, the more I understand that it's not only in your partner, okay, and it's not only in a connection with yourself and with the relationship with the close ones, okay, it's everywhere. Erotica happens in your job, okay, in a relationship with your I don't know, buyers, suppliers, whatever job you're doing, right? It is happens, in your acquaintances, or you just met person and you don't know, right? This is your adult markers. That's how you present yourself. That's how you expose yourself. That's how you connect with people. It's through that energy. Okay, and I'm not saying again that everything has to be sexual. The way you cuddle that baby, okay, and feeling that love and want to squeeze it and want to kiss it, okay, and feel all affectionate, and and giving attention, that also there is a level of erotica in that. And why I'm saying and mentioning babies, right, that is why you see adults very often suffer from disconnect when they have children, because the force of eros energy was divided, right? And then adults start being very much attentive and cuddling and how to say, spending time with the baby. Spending time with the babies, right? And that becomes an obsession. I know, because I'm guilty of it too, right? But that's how it happens, okay? And this, then the baby becomes the most sweetest and the most, nicest thing on this planet, right? And that's where we invest. That's how we spend our eros energy. And when we turn around, okay, and there is this partner, and we dismiss, right? Something like that, right? So today I'm talking about erotica and about feeling that energy, that force of aliveness, right? And what happens when people experiment, okay? Because I create erotic photo shoots for adults, for couples, and for individuals. And that's what we do. Okay, we go into erotic sensations and we go into eros zone. Okay, and people reach that sense of liberation. Reach that, right? How they can reach, how they can generate energy source. Okay, so let me just speak about erotica and erotic energy. When there is an erotic energy and you filled with that energy, right, it is a positive frequency. And what I mean by that, right, when you are in some kind of a presentation of yourself or a performance or in a sexual mode, right, it is very hard to feel nervous, scared, and anxious and be hot and sexy at the same time. It's not possible to have these two frequencies vibrating at the same time. Okay, that is why human beings have to choose, okay, and have to be how to transit from one state to the other. So very often what I've noticed in my studio is this movement, right? People, when they start performing or start undressing, right, they go into certain vibration which is negative, right? Most of the time people would talk about their imperfections, okay? Most of the time people who will come first time to do a photo shoot, they would tell that they do not look right or something is wrong with them, and that is an unpleasant and negative vibration. So my job during the photo shoot, convert that feeling into a positive one. Okay, that's the transition. That's the transition when people dislike themselves, right? And then when they change during one session, right, when they change, they start accepting themselves in a different way, they start seeing themselves in a different way, they start vibrating with a different energy, and that is the energy of confidence, because they dismiss that very narrow perception of themselves, that there is something wrong with them, right, and accept the things what are good about them, right? And that's what I help to do. right? Because everyone has something great about them. Okay, they can think that they are not worthy, they can think that they are not enough, they can think that they are shy, they can think that they're, embarrassed during the shoot, but these are just thoughts. This is just an information which is sitting in humans' heads, right? And you can change that information. I can change that information. You see? That's why I work with people for in erotic photo shoot, and most of the time we do that change. Okay, from a negative vibration, we go into the confidence, right? What it is confidence? Confidence, it is a positive vibration. You cannot be in fear and in doubt and in a security mode, or like in any kind of anxiety, if you are confident. It's not possible. It's just not possible. People who produce positive energy, they can't be in a negative energy in the same time. Okay, it is just one frequency, it is just one flow. During the stress, during a certain impulse, certain actions, certain income from the outside, right? You can change that frequency. You can, of course, if someone will jump on me, I would get scared in that moment, right? And I could lose myself. Okay, it's possible. That's how it happens, right? When people flip back into negativity, right? When they leave the studio, performing in the studio, and they're going into that mode when they are absolutely loving themselves, adoring themselves, admiring themselves, right? They accepting their body, they understand their imperfections, okay? Everything is fine with them. They don't want to be, perfect anymore, right? They just want to be themselves, okay? That's the most important thing. That's the most important part, to be fair, okay? Not to make everyone perfect, because that does a Photoshop. Okay, Photoshop can make everyone perfect, okay, but in the reality is different, right? So I am just bringing individuals or couples closer to reality. And for couples, it's easier. The journey is easier for a very simple reason, because it's two of them, okay, and they support each other, right? And they're there for each other, okay? Very often when couple arrive to erotic photo shoot, okay, one more keen than the other, very often happens, right? But the other part is there to participate, to enjoy, to be, experimental, right? To actually support the partner. Very often, women supporting the partners, and men really want to go into erotic adventures, right? Erotic adventure, and in general, adventure is designed in our mind. We seek to find something new. We seek to have adventures, okay, to travel. We seek that because it's a new information. But not only you can travel in continents, you can travel inside you, and find new grounds for yourself, find new information about yourself, right? And erotica is that place where everything what is sitting in subconscious mind, right, and ruling and dealing from there, comes out. Okay, why I'm saying comes out, because the atmosphere, right, and the conditions are very new. People usually, when they go into erotic photo shoots, they never perform and create such scenarios with anyone else in front of the camera. They usually create erotic scenarios in their heads. And in the reality, they don't do anything. They don't touch anyone, right? It happens as an illusion in their mind. But when they come to do an erotic photo shoot, that's how illusion and fantasy becomes a reality. Okay, and they're showing for themselves, and they're proving for themselves. And that is where the revelational freedom feeling comes from. Okay, so erotica, it is the place. right? It is the place. And as I say, people can be feeling alive and feeling that energy, and that energy comes from, supports you, right? It's that vibration where you are playful with your partner, right? When you are very interested, okay? When you are excited, right? When you want to find out more, okay? When you look for new opportunities, right? When you want to have joy, feeling positive pleasure, you see, allow pleasure, receive pleasure. These type of situations, it's a drive, when people feel drive from the living, that is aliveness. I would say this is richness of the life, because some people can live and live a very poor life. And I'm not talking about financial state, right? At this point. But I'm just saying, not doing anything much, not going anywhere, because erotica, it's a risky experience. Okay, erotica is finding something new about yourself and about your partner. Okay, erotica is going, out of the comfort zone. Erotica is being on the edge. Okay, erotica is looking for the part of you that's been lost in the relationship, right? And that is why majority of how to say cases of infidelity happens, because not necessarily that people want to find someone new. They just want to remember themselves, how they were before the relationship, because relationship changes people. That's why they meet. Okay, they meet and they go into relationship to change and evolve even more. But very often what happens that we are afraid to lose. Okay, we're so much afraid to lose of a person that we change ourselves to unrecognizable state, and then we are longing, longing for that lost part of yourself. Okay, so that's what happens. Okay, not necessarily that you want to find a new husband, a new wife. Very often people just want to remember themselves, how it was for themselves, right? So that is an erotica. And if it's erotica, present and there in your life, you create those rituals. You find the new way how to re-edit yourself, how to rebrand yourself, how to reconnect with your wife or a husband, right? How to find new solutions for fullness, for richness, for aliveness, for playfulness, for all those kind of things, okay, in your life and in your relationship. And erotica played a very big part in my life too, because it also represents health, physical health, mental health. It answers a lot of questions. You see, when we go into health and we know, okay, that this is a mental state, right? There is a lot of stress out there. And what happens to a woman when they have a lot of stress? Okay, the libido is going down with men and the woman as well. Okay, so when you practice erotica, there is balance of your hormones, okay, and other systems, right? Exercise, everything for lazy people. I would say it's for lazy people, for people who don't want to go into the gym. Okay, it's very healthy, right? But talking about intimate parts, in the reality, erotica, it's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than intimacy, and it's much bigger than sensuality. And having new rituals and new habits created, it will sustain, okay, and you can preserve that. And it will be amazing if people will start using this energy in a certain direction, right? And when we live, we have different roles in our life, right? I i have a role of me being a woman, right? I have a role of me being a mom. Okay, and when you become a mom, no matter how big your children are, you forever mom. Okay, I am 20 years old mom. Okay, so no matter how old your kids, you will be always mom, right? Then you are a wife, okay, or a partner, right, in a relationship. And then the last and foremost important role is how you present yourself to the world, okay, what you do, how useful you are, okay, and it's related to your job, and it's related, of course, to money, right? So erotica, it's literally related to money, okay, and that's, can cover every spectrum in your life, every spectrum in your life. So erotica, for me, it's a very important topic, okay, and I'm discussing this, and I'm thinking about this every day, right, and I want to share. So I will just say hi. Hi today for people who just join. I can see so many people join, and I will be continuing about the confidence, because you see, without the confidence, right, without the confidence, we would be in doubt, we would be worried, we would be in fear, we would be anxious, okay, we would be depressed, right, we would be indecisive, okay, we would constantly think something is wrong with us, we would constantly look at other people and so on. Confident in yourself help you to make right choices, okay, and you see, without erotica and adult energy, adults can be confident, right? So erotic photo shoot, it is also the place where adults would like to gain more confidence. Confidence in their body, confidence in their relationship, confidence in their intimate life, okay? Confidence by removing all these blocks, inhibitions, imperfections, all these how to say, stigmas that stuck to you, to the core, I would say. And that happens when people start performing naked. Then they would feel that they are ashamed, or they are guilty doing it, or whatever feeling and emotion they will feel, right? It will stop them, it will stop them from going to their fantasy, right? And that's what we do. We work with these negative emotions, negative feelings, and embrace the confidence, just going there, right? Regardless of what you think and feel, right? The confidence is where your sexuality lies, right? It's at the same place, right? So you can't be scared, nervous, and anxious, again, fear, and feeling sexy and confident. It is not possible. It's not possible, right? So let me just say hi, hello, quickly to everyone who is here, and I would continue my life with confidence topic, right? Confidence topic is going to be next, and of course, confidence is gained during erotic photo shoot experience. When people are undressing, when people are moving in front of the camera, when people are performing in front of the camera, when people are acting out, when people are intimately connecting with themselves or with their partner, because that needs confidence, you see. That's something where how to say, there are not many people who try this. Okay, hi, hello, I can see here a lot of people. Hi, hello, and I am answering questions about erotica and erotic photography, okay, and also can speak about everything what's related to adults performing in front of the camera and erotic fantasies, of course. Hi, hello. I am working. I am working. Very often when people say I am working, it means that you are off. Okay? When you are off. And what that means, when you switch yourself off. When people switch themselves off, they usually switch everything, right? All the sensations. right? So that's what is it. So if you are off, you would not be able to accept it and hear what I'm saying. Good morning to everyone. God bless you all always. My home is sick with COVID. I thought COVID is gone already, but it's not. Were you once a pillow princess? Where I was a pillow princess. Okay, but my God, you are so fine. That's the compliments and compliments. Hi, hello, hi from Las Vegas. Hello from London. Good morning, beautiful. Now it's almost an afternoon here. Good morning from Texas. Good that you're writing where you're from so that I know what I'm reaching. It is so amazing that you can reach another side of the world. It's just amazing. Is 19 too young for you? 19. Well, who is the person who is 19, right? Of course, will have this question in their hand. Is it 19 is too young? Is it 19 is too old? 19 is 19, right? Different 19s. I am not considering and measuring here anyone, to be fair, right? But 19 is the time to know, right? Because you stop being a child when when you under 18. 19 is already going into an adult mode, and to understand erotica, it's very important. I wish I would be 19 and someone told me that erotica exists, okay? And that's not the corn channels. We should learn how to create intimacy and how to create connection, okay? But that wasn't the case, right? My parents were embarrassed to talk anything what is related with intimacy, okay? And I believe there are plenty houses who had the same education. Silence. Being silence is an education. I can tell you in 19, right? There are many ways how to learn, okay? Intimate life. The most value is in the relationship, of course, right? And corn doesn't teach you how to create a relationship. And I believe it is very fair that there is a rejection in life, because that's how we evolve and how that's how we get better in our moves and in our approach with our words. So it is good that women reject and men reject women, right? It's vice versa. And both parties can evolve and grow, okay? Unfortunately, corn channels do not present that, okay? And that is why it's a very big tragedy, okay? Because people when they see corn channels, they do not realize that there is, in the reality, there is a different game out there, okay? And not everyone is wanting, willing, and happy, right? That intimate life, it's a knowledge and it is an education, right? Which we are never been exposed to, okay? We educated, I don't know, I was learning recipe books, okay? Maybe you was learning some mechanics books, okay? Because majority are guys. Maybe you was learning IT and so on. But I am saying that relationship and intimacy and erotic energy and working around that is the whole world, right? And erotica, I believe it's a new ritual now, okay? And erotic photography brings people closer just for a very single reason, right? You can communicate now with images, okay? And you can be close and intimate with images, like you can say many words with one emoji or with one GIF, right? It's a visual information. That's how we accept the world today. And I believe this is my time to tell different stories from other people who were telling their own story, just to show. You see, we're learning from watching, right? We're learning how others doing it faster, right? It is very painful experience just to learn on your own and by yourself, because it will take really long time. But when you can see other people and when you can recognize that energy, that passion, that connection between them, you would feel this. It will resonate. Okay, it's a perfect example how to see and how to learn intimacy erotica, where there is a game in there. You see, when people in a relationship, right, in a real relationship, not in a corn situation, right, developing a pacing, developing a connection, it's like a dance, it's like a communication, right, one towards each other. It's not into one gate, constantly a game, right? They develop a different energy and different frequency. When I shot people for money, and I mean people are creating content for money, right? They have a totally different goals, totally different agenda. And energy in the studio is different. It's just not the same. Okay. And I can feel it and I can tell you that this is not the same like shooting corn and shooting a couple who is madly deeply in love, okay, having a great intimate connection together and just experimenting and pushing each other to the limits or to the edge, right? And they are doing it for their own development, right? So they're creating a certain energies, they're healing each other. In my language, they're being therapeutic to each other and they're healing each other, restoring our systems. Okay. That's why they will live longer. Okay. Because they have a very powerful source to share between them. Okay. It's a very special energy. Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's a two different worlds, right? And real world needs rituals and needs this connection. And the younger you get now, the more people will understand. Okay, because young generation understand this connection, right? They're sending sexy pictures to each other. They do. And those sexy pictures doesn't have to be, very anatomic, right? It has, it just have to be sexy. You see, Eros energy, it's not about being undressed in front of the camera. Okay, it's not. It's about your personality, it's about your charisma, it's about your identity, right? It's about your marker. That's the soul. Okay, and everyone has it. Everyone has a specific coding to this energy, and we accept people by this coding. We recognize them by this coding. And when people are in love and in the connection with each other, they are improving their codes, okay, and they're getting better. And the Eros energy, you see, it's that force of playfulness which makes them, you see, go on another level in the game, and get better at what they're doing. Okay, their intimate life is not on one, they're not going around the circle. Okay, they're getting better. That's the Eros energy because they find their ways to improve themselves and improve the experience. And today people want to make love, okay, but they want to have a greater sex, just greater, right? Because of evolution, our intellectual knowledge is growing. That is why our physical and sexual and intimate experience automatically growing. We can't just be growing technically and then not growing, in the relationship aspect or in the other aspects. Everything is developing and going higher. And that is why a lot of couples, they do not have intimacy because they don't know how to get that into a greater mode, you know? And just being in a physical connection, it's not enough, it's not interesting enough, it's boring for someone. And most of the time, boring for women. I don't know what's about the woman, but they get bored very quickly, okay? And when I shoot erotic content, I can tell you, I get very quickly bored. When the man is doing the same things, I don't see many action, I don't see many changes. I am then getting involved and interfering with their make love routine. Okay. And I'm not afraid of this, because you see, I am hired and getting paid to improve their sex life on camera, okay, and show them that they are so hot and so amazing with each other, that they can do in this way and that way, and whatever they can do. Because when they see porn channels, okay, and especially, how to say, that's a concentrated information about a certain topic, right? I'm not talking now only about Eros, okay? Because Eros energy, it's a revolutionary energy. It's the place where you cannot be dead, okay? If you dead, it's a game over for you, right? It's a game over. And people live in this relationship of the game over for really long time. And then when they already in the deepest hole, and they want to get out, then they feel that eros energy, and that they, trapped, and they want to escape, and that is the liberation. Okay, and sometimes they perform this liberation in front of the camera to start with. They perform in front of the camera, and then they go and divorce their husband. Happens. It happens, okay? It's a practice. So erotic energy, it's a new beginning. It's a novelty, okay? It's a risk-taking energy, right? When you know that if you take the risk, you get to somewhere what is new. What is new for yourself, or what is new for yourself and for your partner. That is an erotic energy. Okay, it's not about just doing things. Okay, it's not about getting bored here in the studio and making the same things and again. I'm not here to shoot this type of content unless they specifically ask for it, and they would say okay. And even then, I am so I I'm gonna improve it. You see, women are designed to improve things. That's why women are created. They are created by God, and they are going to improve the things that even don't need any improvement. Okay, that's why they doing it. it's it's a coding that woman has. That's why they want to improve everyone around, and even the men. Okay, that's the thing about women, right? So when it is perfect and I can see it is perfect, I'll stay in that perfect mode, and then I will improve it, and I'll try and see maybe there is better, on the other side. Maybe if I give this, it's going to be better. Maybe if I say them to change this way, it's going to be even better. Because have an inquisitive mind. I'm very interested. What if? What if? So that's how I create my erotic scenarios. I have a lot of ideas, and I think, what if they do this? And then what if they do that? And I am very much into a testing mode, because everything starts from testing. And what I've noticed in my, creative life, people are, scared to experiment. But if you say to them that, we're not going to record this, or it's not going to go anywhere, just test it. Let's just have a look. Let's just see for ourselves. Let's just do a test. They very easily to agree on the test. That's how I get it there. Okay, I'll just ask them to do this, to test this, to test this, to test this, and then I have this risky content already. You see, and they do not even realize that this has already happened. Okay, and I run my photo shoots, very, how to say, it doesn't have to be complicated, right? It has to be fun. It's not, scary or anything, right? So I'll put it in a place where it's cozy and convenient, how they like it. You see how they like it. Because if it's going to be straight away nudity, and they would feel nervous and anxious, it will take a really long time to shoot a great content, because the transition is much longer from the negative vibration into the positive, right? So let me just quickly see 45 messages I need to answer, at least some of them. And I'm going to talk about erotic photo shoot as a diagnostics. Okay, because when we go to a clinic, right, before any kind of treatments, whatever you have, any kind of conditions, you do diagnostics. That's the first thing. They need to check you. They need to see your measurements, in all systems. They will take some information from you, right? And that is important. So when you go to have an erotic photography, erotic photo shoot, it is a diagnostics, because we're taking images of your body and of your mental state. Okay, and let me just discuss a little bit more in few minutes. Okay. Uh, yes. Okay. Okay. There is a very very interested young man, 19, okay, who is asking if it will be too young for me. The answer is yes. It will be too young for me. I can tell you why. I can tell you why. You see, when woman has children and they are adults, they don't want to date their children. You understand? And my oldest son is 28. So I would definitely have someone older, because I don't want to feel, there is a similarity in there. So you will, when you grow up, you will understand. But for men, it's different, I would say. For men, it's different. For men can have a 19 years old daughter, and he can have a 19 years old. This is a different logic, okay? But we are mentally, like, our brain is connected the same, but the neurons go in a different way, so we think differently, right? So that is why there is this difference. Are you in Los Angeles? No, I am not. No, I am not. I am in London, in United Kingdom. Okay. How about a blow? How about? How about? If you're talking about photo shoot, yes, yes, that's one of the erotic scenes that men would like to have with their girlfriend or with their wife, is a blow scene. That's correct. Okay. There are like very traditional views, okay, and then there are couples who are away from traditional views, okay, and like I say, everyone is different. But the blow scene is the first scene what they would like to have, of course, being a couple. It is very hard to have a blow scene when you are by yourself and shooting a solo shoot, right? But there are single men, okay, who are booking an erotic photo shoot, and they absolutely dying, okay, about the idea getting to the point when they are aroused and then doing nothing. Okay, it's just like seriously very painful information for them. And for those people who can't, just get erected and get horny and then go home, there is a service as a model service. Okay, and there is a tantric model who provides a very nice massage, sensual, sexual plays, games, and happy end. Okay, and everything will be recorded on camera, and that's where you can have your fantasy, right? So blow is included. Okay, someone is 19-year-old, and then there is a 19-inch too long. Okay, two questions, but both are 19. It's very interesting, right? So 19-inch would be perfect for couple fantasy shoot. Okay, that will be perfect. And you will be a dream of every couple. Okay, that's what I can tell you, right? If people think that I am here created a business so that I can just have adventures for myself, that's not really a case. Okay, that's not really a case. So I never consider myself, in the role of accepting or having any services, okay, or testing or whatever joining. Okay, I don't, right? So that's how it works. I think it's fairly professional. If I want to keep this way, I'll just continue, right? So 19 inches is a perfect place in a fantasy world, okay, where couples dream about a bull model, a male, okay, a male and they dream to share, husband dream to share their wives. Okay, that's where I would fit this size. Okay, that's where I would go with this size. Do you need assistant? I'd love to learn from you. I'd love to learn from you. I have two photographers and I am not in the US, okay? But you have an opportunity to learn, and I will be opening courses, okay? And courses will be related to erotic photography. And erotic photography will be available for beginners, for starting people, newbies, and for those who would like to have an extra income and change their direction from any other photography that they're doing into erotica, okay, into erotic photography. That's two courses will be open and announcements will be made. So that's where you can join and you can learn. Okay, that's an option, right? Okay. Do you need an assistant? I see you have amazing 1K likes. Can you teach me photography? About the photography, I can tell you very honestly. I am not going to teach anyone photography. Okay, I'm going to teach the way I learn erotic photography. But erotic photography I learn by myself, right? But photography I learned in in the college, in the uni, right? So when you learn photography, you can do that on Google, right? There are so many photographers who are there to teach you how to use camera, what kind of the settings, what is the shutter speed, what is the aperture, what is the ISO, and so on, right? Everything what you need, you can learn there. Okay, what you will be nowhere to find is that direction about erotic photography. And what that includes is to understand an erotic eros, nudity, and approach to the client factor to make client do the things that they do not think they're capable to do. Okay, that's the main focus on the erotica, right? Because you can shoot better scenes, more riskier, more exposed, more explicit scenes if you're able to approach people this way. You understand what I'm saying? Right? But everyone choosing for themselves. Some people do not want to go into a hardcore and make love scenes. For some people, it is enough to shoot boudoir or artistic nude. It depends, right? So I will be covering all the topics. Okay, Julia, how much intimacy are you having? How much intimacy I am having? As much as I can. Okay, as much as I can. When we talk about intimacy, there is no limitations. You see, there is no limitations, right? And you should not think about how much. Okay, it's in general when you speak about erotica, right? It's not about frequency. It's not about the size. Okay, it's not about the length. It's not about this. It's the quality. Okay, it's the quality of the vibration and it's the energy, right? And if two people are able to generate a certain frequency, that's what that is. It's not about how many times you can do it, okay, and how fast you can do it, oh, how many times you come. It's not about that, okay? So you should think in a slightly different way. Yes, I need confidence as I am very short man and 157 centimeters tall. Okay, what is your cock size? Okay, because you are focusing very much on your height, right? You have a height focus, right? The photographer, if it's a good photographer, it always will find a new focus for you. Okay. And where you will focus and how you will think about yourself, that's how you would live and carry on, in your life. So if you focus that you're short, okay, That's how the life will carry on, right? I believe every person can find their true match. Okay, some people say it's not exist. I don't believe that, right? So true match is this: if you have an issue with your height, right? So your true match will be 150, 155, let's say, right? How many women are 150, 155? Many. Okay, no, seriously, there are many women, right? And there are a lot of short women who do not want very tall men. Okay, so here we go. It is a new perspective for you, right? To think that you just need to find your right woman, to find the woman who will match you, right? But if you look that someone is taller and you would look and focus on someone else, then you just constantly lose your energy and you will live in that need and shortness and minus sign. Okay, it's a minus sign, right? And you constantly be worried about that someone is taller, right? But then you worry that someone is richer, right? But then you worry that someone is maybe more have more hair, or maybe someone has, a six pack, and then you worry that someone has something, that's not the right way to focus your life. You focus on yourself and you understand your perspectives, right? And you are into women who are your size. There are plenty of them. So what's the problem? I don't see that, right? Not everyone has to be high in the height, and tall people. Not everyone, right? And usually the shorter people somehow they want to compensate a lot of things, so they better at something. Okay, here we go. There is another perspective for you to look at. Be better at something. Okay, and if you be better at something, the woman, do you think that she is working with the measure tape? Right, there are women who cares, right? But if you're gonna be better at something, right, she will not need that measure tape. She would value you for what you're better at. Okay, and there will be plenty things that she needs that you be better at. That's all I can say, right? Good morning, beautiful from Arizona. Arizona, hello from London. Are you Israeli? That's a totally new thing for me. Hello, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Not nowadays. Hello, are you still yapping about nonsense? Yes, I am. I am. For someone, it's an absolute nonsense. And I like that. Not in Las Vegas. Not. Holy crap. You gorgeous. My friend Dave is running a marathon. Can you cheer them on? Do I look like a marathon cheerleader? That's the question. Can you say go Dave? There are different people in here. Okay. I'd be exciting if I was with you. A trapeze. Beautiful. Right, what we have. I have the best money shot. I have the best money shot. Talking about money shots, this is something what I've learned when I shot adult photography. I started doing photography from a different directions, right? But when I approached adult photography, and we've created shots that people would buy pictures 100%, that would I call money shots. Okay, so if you know how to make money shots, there is nothing there to learn. Okay, you already know. 10 inches. You see how it's easy for men to measure themselves. People, guys who are measuring how long they are, you are very competitive, okay? But you don't understand that in life you are competing with yourself, okay? Most of the time, with yourself. And when you're competing with yourself, that's when you're growing. And when you're focusing into someone else and competing with someone else, you're losing the energy because you're thinking about others. Exotic beauty. Bob's here. I am proud of you. Thank you. 7 inches. Okay, lots of information. You are beautiful. Thank you. Right. Let me just discuss about confidence. Okay, because most of the time people, when they're booking erotic photo shoot, of course they're thinking about having fun. Of course they're thinking about doing new things. And of course about the thinking to let themselves go and experiment, okay, and record this on camera. But in the reality, there is underlying reasons why they're doing it, and it's for self-confidence. Okay, confidence in their performance, confidence in how they look, confidence that they can achieve something, confidence that they can do this. Okay, confidence is a big thing, right? And confidence is related with sexuality and with erotica, right? We fancy people because they do shine and give you that feeling of confidence, right? And usually confidence is the sensation where sexuality is combined. You can't look sexy if you do not have confidence. That's something I can tell you, right? So confidence is a must. And when people create sexy energy, right? They also have this confidence. Thanks for the birdies. What was that? TikTok is surprising me every time, right? So confidence is a very important topic. And surprisingly, to me, there are people who coming older and older and older and still looking, okay, still looking to get that confidence. Okay, so one way is to gain confidence and gain more confidence, or to get that confidence back. You see, there are two ways to go about it, but confidence is that vibration that adults happy to be in. Why I'm saying happy? Because if you are confident, you can experience pleasure. Confidence, you can accept the pleasure. Confidence, you can give the pleasure. In confidence, you can actually vibrate the highest sexual energy because you are confident about what you're doing, how you're doing, about how you're feeling, right? So it's an amazing vibration that is related to us adults, right? Why I'm saying this to us adults? Because you see, when we are in fear, okay, when we scared, when we insecure, when we in need, when we are shy, when we are ashamed, afraid, okay, and anxious and nervous, these are negative vibrations and they come from a childhood. These are the energies that happens to adults, and sometimes adults stuck in these energies and vibrate with them, and we can recognize that. Okay, we can recognize that by their behavior. Okay, by the sense, by the words they're saying, by the actions they're making, right? So adults can stuck in a negative vibration and be absolutely worried and be in doubt, right? And when they worried and in doubt, they can't be confident. Okay. So sexuality and confidence is tight, tied together, right? And when you stay longer in that energy, the stronger it will get and more it will attach to you. The more it will attach to you, the more decisions you would take from a totally different point. I'm not saying that adults are not getting worried and nervous. They do. They do. They do. They can get scared, right? But when they are in a child's energy, they react in a different way. You see, adults, they can accept that this happened, reframe, recharge their battery, and go back into confidence mode. Okay, that's what adults do. This is an adult reaction, right? And that's how it's, that's how it's supposed to be, right? And children, they stay really long time, they get depressed. Okay, there are many things happen to them, and I'm not saying that someone's fault is that, right? But we are all responsible for our lives. Okay, we are all responsible for what we are doing, not for someone else is doing to us, but how we react. Okay, and how we act and what we say. Okay, even if you've been provoked, right? That's an adult response, right? If someone would say something and I will throw the glass. No, seriously. If I would throw the glass, you could see straight away that she's being in a baby zone, right? But adults, they can laugh about it. And that's another thing about Eros energy. You see, Eros energy make you act adult, right? And even in the situations which are tense, you can find the humor in it, right? And just can laugh about it. And that's is a very important situation, because you see, when something is not happening here in my studio and we're shooting erotic scenarios, and for example the guy cannot get an erection, or the girl cannot come, or there are some certain things, I am not getting, worried or cry. I just laugh about it, and I'll just make a joke about it, right? And I'll try to release that tension, because people are very tough to themselves when it comes to being perfect and performing, right? And especially when they have one go. You see, when they have one go and one chance, there is a big pressure. It's like an exam. Okay, erotic photo shoot, it is like an exam. And that's what it does. It takes a picture, right? It scans you, and it takes a picture of your state. Of course, first you will see and evaluate your physical state, right? What is intact, what is right, what is not right, how you're supposed to be. You will be maybe comparing yourself and so on, right? To that perfect true self. Human is never in the same shape. Like the universe is changing all the time, your body is changing all the time, unless you live in exactly same rules, like eating the same thing every day, sleeping and drinking and doing the same things every day. Like this is madness to be in such a control and torture, right? So when everything changing, your body fluctuates. It's normal, right? You can be 3 kilos there, 3 kilos there. If you are going to live and worry about it, right, that's the problem. Because you do not understand that everything is changing in your body, especially when you're getting older, right? The aging happens, right? Aging happens, but people want still to look young and remember themselves how they've been 20 years ago. And then they comparing you know, themselves. So with that version of you, which was younger, 20 years old, and the version of you now, which is older, 20 years old. Okay, these are two different versions. Two different versions. So camera, of course, will reveal that. Okay, there will be a diagnostics of your age, of your state, of your skin condition, of your body fitness condition, of your movement and elegancy and graciousness and flexibility. Okay, and how you can create the shapes, and how you can perform, and how you feel your body, and how you connect your body with your face expression. And so many expressions of your on your face will happen through the photo shoot, right? and you can change your hairstyle, and you can change your accessories and outfits, and everything what you change will impact the way you look and the way you feel. You will be amazed, okay? And then in that circle you will add your sexual movements and sexual fantasies and intimate touches, right? Touches of your body, right? And touches of your partner you are with, okay? And then, you will get sexually aroused, okay? And that intimate energy is going to be just escalating and growing through your mind and going through your body. And then you will be allowing yourself to do something what you never done in front of the others, okay? And you will see how this control will take over you, okay? And what kind of the feelings and emotions will come out. Again, if you go into a full mode, and I mean make love scenarios non-stop and no limits, what Julia allows, right, in the studio, then it's going to be a different conversation. Okay, how you want to come, how many positions, what you prefer, how you like, where how you are best at what, okay, how she is feeling, it's a different conversation, okay? Intimate situation. So that's what I'm saying. It's a diagnostics. It's a diagnostic of the way you feel, physical, mental state, and emotional state, right? And then the contact sheets or galleries or videos you will get is going to be an entertainment for you, an educational for you, and of course is a therapy content, because you will be working on yourself, understanding and evaluating the content that you've created. That these pictures are not so much, right? Maybe, okay, maybe, but these ones are amazing. So what else I have done there, okay? What how is it possible? What has been new, and so on? So why do I feel this way? And why at the start it was not so great? Okay, what I was thinking there, what I was feeling there. You see, there will be a lot of analysis after. And when you go through this, it's called phototherapy, it's called self therapy, right? And when people do not like themselves, do not accept themselves, they think do not enough, that they do not achieve enough, or they do not perform enough, or they were expecting a different result or better results or greater goals achieved and so on, they will evaluate all of that information what happened, you see. And there will be there always Julia to help and support through the way. That's why they're doing erotic photo shoot not by themselves, okay, but with a professional who can cover every angle, every aspect, every corner, right? And of course I can shoot in a different digital format that comes in photography and videography, and then also I do editing, right? So that's what it is. To build the confidence, first you need to know more about yourself and understand your greatest points and the stronger points, right? And that's where you can see the features. That's the information will be just lay out for you, okay? So that you would see who you are, truly are, right? That's what it is. So why do you need a confidence? Why do you need a confidence, right? People take decisions the way they think, okay? They act the way they feel, right? And if in that moment they feel confident about their decisions and they feel confident about their actions, okay, they feel confident about themselves, should they take this or should they not, the life will be much better and easier for them, right? So the confidence is the state where you stop being worried, when you stop being nervous, when you stop doubting yourself, when you think that you are enough, that you don't need to learn anything else because you are enough, you know everything, right? When you are not fearful, okay, when you're not scared to lose anyone, okay, when you know how to say, just like you eliminate everything what is on the negativity list, and you will understand that confidence is an opposite of that, because you can't be negative and confident in the same time. And confidence builds your identity, makes you stronger, have you on the other level. That's what pushes you to achieve something, the goals, the relationship, the great life, the wealth, you see. And let me lastly tell you a very important thing about these people who are not allowing themselves to feel pleasure. That's where the confidence also related. When they were children and they were not allowed to do something, right? And they were said that, you have enough, it's enough for you, you don't need this, and so on. They've been cut off all the time. That's how in life, in intimate life, they do not allow the pleasure or do not seek higher pleasure. And the same happens with their financial situation. Okay? Because when you allow yourself to have more sexual vibration, higher intimacy, you allow yourself to be richer, financially as well, right? It's related. Okay, so on this note, which I'm going to discuss later, I would like to finish and say goodbye to everyone today. Okay, I love your voice. Thank you so much. What did I walk into? It is the end of a topic where I talk about erotica, about human feeling alive and dead energetically. Okay, and I just started video with death and aliveness, and I compared two couples who have a great relationship and feel alive, and who don't have a great relationship and intimacy and they feel dead inside, right? So that was the beginning. Accent sounds so gangster. So gangster and sexy. Yes, good. Good. That's interesting. Okay. Hi, hello. Hi, hello. It's the end of my stream. Thank you so much for being active. We are accountable to oneself. That's so true. You are interested in buying state secrets. In buying secrets. Okay. I am interested in discovering other secrets. That is why I am creating erotic photography. Erotica is related with secret activities, and people who create erotic fantasies, they do it in secret, and they are opening up to me with their secrets. Okay? And that's what I do, right? That's what I do. And that is enough, okay? Knowing other secrets. Too beautiful. Show us what your confidence, show us what your confidence looks like. Okay? Confidence you cannot show. Okay? It is not something that you can show. It's there or it's not. Right? And that's how it looks like, right? You are gorgeous after your ride back where after your ride back. Where? Okay. That's your comfort. You are. Let's see what you've got. That's your comfort. The comfort. The comfort is the place where there is no risk and where it's very safe and where it's very cozy. That is the comfort. Erotic photo shoot and topics what I discuss now is far from the comfort. Okay, my darling? It is something what is secret, it is something what is risky, and there are not many women who actually come and discuss about erotic photography experience. Okay? Talking 20 years plus in this business, right? So that's far away from the comfort. Okay? People who are in comfort, they sit in their home and do nothing. Okay? That's what's happening. I am in love with you. Thank you. You are beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Bob's here, I'm proud. Okay, thank you so much for being in here. Thank you for watching. Someone who just popped in, is great to see you too. And like always, I am discussing about erotic photo shoots, right? Erotic fantasies and sensations, what people are feeling during erotic photo shoots and the reasons why they're doing it. And today I discussed confidence at the end, and at the beginning I had a discussion about aliveness in erotica and about feeling dead. About feeling dead, right? So thank you so much, and I see you later. I see you later. It was lovely to talk to you. Bye.